Oh my God! This is interesting you asked this. When I was growing up, right, I can barely remember how many times my parents actually um, had a big party organized for me, right? So one of the parties that I really remember that my parents organized for me was like a party of like 10 people. And it was just like a very strong cake and nearly decorated with a big knife and cabin biscuits and maybe couple Fanta drink, Coke and Fanta drinks. So one of the um one of my focus for doing what I do is to make sure that parents celebrate their kids and keep the memories, right? Because I barely have pictures or videos of me growing up, which is really painful. So that's one of my focus. But the top of my priority for doing what I do, which I consider valuable for parents or to the parents that I offer my services to, is creating an effective bonding between parents and their kids. Creating effective bonding between parents and their kids. Because I realize that we are in a country where parents get so busy with work because they have to foot the bills and take care of their children, and kids as well go to school and get loaded with a lot of assignments, and the curriculum sometimes can be overwhelming, and then by the time they come back they don't even get time to really exchange you know words, questions and answers with the parents and kids. And so whenever there's a party, I consider it as an opportunity for parents to actually create effective bonding with their kids. And that's why I always make sure that I only offer parents and kids oriented kind of games, games where parents can play with the kids or kids can play with the parents, or games where uh, kids can play alone but yet have the parents enjoy it. So in most of my parties, if you watch the videos on TikTok, and you realize that whenever the kids are playing the games, the parents are as well yelling and chanting and enjoying the games, right? That was my goal, to make sure that I create an environment for effective bonding between the parents and the kids. So, yeah, number one, effective bonding. Number two is to make sure that memories, significant memories are kept. Oh! You have to pick it up, pick it up. No, you can't use your hand. Drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it. You can't use your hands. Good job, Michelle. Wow, Michelle has one already. Look at what Michelle is doing. Good job, Michelle. Michelle has two. Look at what Michelle is doing. Michelle has three already. Through games. Kids are highly competitive, right? So through games, I love video games, but I wouldn't advise parents to limit interaction, the promotion of interaction between themselves and the kids to video games, right? Video games can be played at leisure, that's for the kids alone. But if you really want to create or have amazing relationship or a wonderful relationship with your kids, I would suggest, energetic and physical games, right? Games are not expensive to create, right? You can just think of something, just as we are right here, and let's say you mentioned you have a 2-year-old If you want to play a game with your kids, a 2-year-old kids, you can just start with tossing this eyeglasses that I have on. Just toss the glasses. You throw it, and let's see how many people catch the most. Just toss it and toss it back, toss it and toss it back. Or then you toss it for your kid, and then he or she goes to find it. And then he or she brings it back, and then you toss it again. That is just one. I mean, there's so many. You can play interactive games with colors. You can just think of anything randomly, just like I have colors right here, right? This is Sharpie pen. You can do something with it. Just, for example, mix the colors together and just cover them up with something and just ask the baby, oh, where is yellow? And he or she picks up the yellow, or where is green, and he or she picks up the green and just guess where the green is. Those are games that would sharpen up the mind of the kids, not just video games where they fight or they play soccer or they know. There are some, actually. For example, I do have um uh 4 nieces here in the United States that don't tell them, it's a secret, right? I just got them a video game. And but I carefully selected the CDs, right? I bought about 10 CDs, right? Carefully selected the CDs that I put in the parcel I was going to present to them, right? And the games are, very, very. I only have one combat game, which is Mortal Kombat, right? The rest are, alphabetical games, and there are a lot of, PlayStation games, but they are carefully selected, because you have to make sure that every single deed you offer your kids are intentional, right? And that's exactly the reason why I make sure that my games, parties are carefully selected, and they are educating, not just educating, but they improve the what's it called? They improve the intellectual state of every child, right? So,
Three, go! Take your time, slow and steady. You can't help her, you can't help her. Slow and steady. You have 30 seconds left. Slow and steady, guys. Don't rush it. Do not rush it. 20 seconds left. Are you guys not picking anything at home? All right, 20, 19, 18, keep picking. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6.
yeah, of course. Play supports does definitely support the development of executive function and self regulation in our children. For example, while I was growing up, I witnessed a lot of times when my dad wouldn't go anywhere without me. And today, my dad is already over 70, and I can easily interact with my dad because I've been going out with him to places while growing up. Just imagine if my dad never had that kind of relationship with me while I was growing up. I would see him more as an authoritarian as opposed being a father or a shepherd, right? So the more you interact with your kids during their childhood, it definitely foster or predict the level of the relationship you would have with them when they get older, definitely. And it's also kind of predict the level of uh, the level of, what do we call that? The level of trust they would have in you, so much more that they can come to you to ask you something and tell you what they're going through, just because you have created that environment, you know, for them to actually have some level of trust in you. So I would I've not done that research myself. I've read some articles, that actually stated this fact. But I would definitely agree that, um, that play support, just as I mentioned, would definitely foster self regulation, or executive function, or development of executive function in our children. The topmost criteria that I use, myself and my wife will make sure that our top goal is on the top of our criteria, right? Which is creating effective bonding. So we love that most of the games are family oriented. As a matter of fact, I personally would prefer more games, and I think it's the same as my wife, right? She also loves games where father and daughter, you know, get involved in a competition, or mother and son get involved in a competition, or one family and the other family gets involved in a competition. And we make jokes and say, hey, listen, if your dad don't make sure your team wins, try to lock them out of the house. And then everyone just laughs about it, like, who's gonna lock who out of the house, and something like that. So the top criteria definitely is the effective bonding portion of our goals, or of our vision, right? Trying to make sure that, we have more games that are parent inclusive. Some of the problems, maybe materials. Sometimes I think about what to play, and let's say, for example, I need this bottle to play a game. It's and I get engrossed sometimes with my career job, and sometimes I don't have enough time to actually prepare for the weekend, because we get busy a lot. Sometimes from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we get busy, right? Sometimes if it's organizational, let's say a company wants us to be at the end of the year party, or maybe some kind of parties, it might be on Friday nights or something like that, right? So sometimes I don't have enough time. Time is a major constraint to actually look for the resources to actually play certain games, because sometimes you order some of those materials online, and the logistics might delay. Like Amazon might take maybe 3 days, or might tell you 2 days, and then it takes 1 week sometimes. uh, and I don't want to pay for faster shipping, because Amazon always delivers. Trust me, Amazon always delivers. But then you sometimes, if it's coming from China, you gotta pay for it. But if you don't want to pay for it, it give you the option of not paying, but then it might get to you late. So time is a major constraint. Um, um, Inavailability of materials sometimes, and sometimes health, because sometimes, trust me, we can be tired, right, from having back to backs and back to back, but then we still have to serve the children, because if you don't come to a child's party, she's fighting the parents over, why didn't you guys call Shaylos to a party? So yeah, that's all.
Biden, Barack, you are out of the game, the one in white. Biden, you're out, you're out, you know yourself, the one in blue, yeah. Your Francis is still in. Trump, Chris, you're out of the game. Biden, Trump, Biden, Trump, Biden, Barack, Trump. Two of you out, Francis, and the other one. You're out. Yeah. It's out. Barack, Biden, Trump, Biden, Trump, Barack, Biden, Biden, Trump. Talk in your house. Biden, Trump, Barack, Biden, Trump, Barack, Biden, Trump, Trump, Biden, Trump, Barack. Franklin, you're out. Biden, Trump, talking. Alam, you're out. Biden, Trump, Biden, Barack, Trump, Trump, Biden, Trump. You're out. The girl in red, you're out. You were slow. Yeah. The girl in red is out. Trump. Both of you out. Wait.